Asher. I am so excited to learn more about this great book, 13 Reasons Why.
Well, thank you. Ask away.
So, the most important and most asked about question for this book is where did you get your inspiration from? This is a very deep subject, and you seem to have a lot of insight.
Well, actually, I have a close relative who tried to commit suicide at the same age that Hannah did. Thankfully, she survived and helped a lot in the writing of this book.
What kind of things did you guys talk about to create such a powerful novel?
It has a lot to do with feeling, and you will never know or be able to describe that feeling unless you have gone through it yourself. And I did not want to write about something I wasn't educated on. I didn't write this book until several years after the matter, and I knew that she'd be fully on board with helping me get this message across to help others.
So, is the character in the book similar to her?
Yes, I used things like how Hannah would drop hints on as kind of a scream for help in a quiet way, but the signs were really obvious when Clay looked back on it. But she also never asked for help or tried any more than that, and that is similar to her as well. So the way they experienced this depression and struggle is similar, and that made it a lot easier for me to write about something that would actually be real and connect with the readers.
I think it is very important for it to be applicable to the people who may be reading it. And you had a perfect opportunity to write about that. Did you ever feel emotional or uncomfortable while writing the book since you knew it was so closely related? Because you were writing about something so close to you.
Yes, at first I was very reluctant to ask her for her help on this, and but I realized that I couldn't write this book and get the correct message across without her help, because I haven't gone through it myself, so I don't know what it feels like, and I don't want to write about that if I don't know what it feels like. And she also was willing to help because after I had finally asked her, because she knew that we needed to do this to help others.
What you want the people to get out of this book?
I would say the main theme is like the butterfly effect, but in your own actions in life. People, especially teenagers, need to realize how much of what they do, no matter how small it may seem to them, can affect others and eventually come back to yourself. I say teenagers because high school is a vulnerable time for most, and it seems to be where a lot of the problems lie, but this book is for everyone to apply to.
Yes, I agree with that. We don't ever realize how much we're affecting others until it comes back to us. Another thing I loved about your book was the setting. I loved all the places that the main character Clay traveled throughout the book and the imagery that went along with it.
Thank you. I actually got most of the places from my hometown. It was small like described in the book, and we had a lot of the same diners and restaurants in the park that was described. Sadly, most of those places are gone now, but it was really fun to relive them through writing this.
What was your favorite scene to write, or what scene did you find most relatable?
Um, I would say the scene where they went in to the diner, both Hannah and Clay experienced similar. They it was very unusual in the book and in my own hometown to go alone into this diner, and including myself, we all experienced going in alone, and the reaction of the people is like kind of like disapproving, and you get like stares and things. So that was really nice to write about, like how they felt, and because I could relate directly to that.
So, is the high school similar to your personal experience as well?
Yes, it was small and everyone seemed to know each other for varying reasons. The large amount of drama I created in this book I got from my own experience, people I know's experiences, as well as the things I hear about. I intertwined these and made it all interconnect because at the end of the day it really does, even though we don't realize it.
That's really interesting. Everything in your book is taken from real life situations and experiences, making it easier for the reader to put themselves into the situation. Because truthfully, they probably have experienced similar.
Yes, and I didn't realize that I could connect so much to the readers until I got the countless emails from people telling me their situations and how much this book helped them.
Was that kind of intimidating? Having all these people looking up and relying on you for this kind of support?
Yes, I was very surprised and it was a little bit stressful, but also really rewarding. I've gotten some letters saying that this book saved their life or that because of this book they decided to reach out for help. It made me really happy that I had such a big impact on so many people's lives.
Wow, that's amazing. What exactly do you think from the book made them want to reach out for help?
Well, while reading this, many people started to get annoyed with Hannah for not taking advantage of the things that could have helped her when she had the perfect opportunity to. These people noticed that they were doing the very thing that was making them frustrated about Hannah, and then they realized what they needed to do.
That's very interesting. In the book, Clay really does get frustrated with Hannah as well, while listening to her suicide note, which seems kind of out of place. Why is that?
At first, he's crushed. He's extremely taken aback when he first hears Hannah's voice on the tapes. Then he becomes devastated and confused. He doesn't understand why he's on the tapes and what he did wrong, but as he continues to listen to them, he changes. When he first finds out that if he just stayed and consoled her that one night, maybe things would be different, he's crushed and feels really guilty about it. But as he keeps listening and his thinking changes. It was her fault for pushing him away, and all the times she could have been saved, she was the one who chose not to take the opportunity. And she kind of admits this as well, and Clay definitely notices and gets a little angry about it.
That's a very powerful message. Do you think it's a little harsh and cold of Clay?
It may seem harsh for him to do that, especially in this type of book, but the readers really need to realize the truth and that this kind of situation is not the dolled up thing that society has created. It's harsh and cold and it's going to hurt, and I am not trying to cover that up.
Why did you decide to write from both Hannah's and Clay's perspective?
Well, Hannah's perspective part of the book is the whole backstory and all the really story part, and then Clay's is his reaction to it. And I think it's very important to write a book where it shows both sides of the situation and how it impacts the person who's going through it a lot, but also the person who knows them, all the people that know them, and what they go through too, because it will help the people who are going through this maybe too realize that they're affecting others as well, and then it can also help people who know other people that are going through this, help them because they can understand more about how much it affects them.
It helps both people who suffer and the people around them. It helps them realize what the other people are going through and helps opens their eyes to them, to the real problems and issues.
Yes, exactly.
What was it like writing from a girl's perspective? Most authors don't choose to write from different perspectives. Why did you choose to write from a different perspective?
I really wanted this to be from a girl's perspective, and I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to accomplish that. Surprisingly, I found it pretty easy to tap into that mindset, and it all just kind of happened. And it was also funny when people had read it, they were really surprised too, saying wow, you sound just like a girl. And I was very happy about that.
What made it so easy for you to tap into a girl's mindset?
Well, with the help of my relative, I was able to kind of take her thoughts and put them in. And yeah.
That's great. Well, I completely agree with him. You did an outstanding job writing this book on such a sensitive topic. It was beautifully written, and I know has affected everyone who has read it. I personally love the book, and I'm just so pleased that you decided to join us today. And I would just like to thank you for coming, and also I'd love to thank you for your extra insight on this amazing book.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.